There's something almost uneasy in the way the Dolphins walked through Tuesday. No loud bursts, no wild laughter echoing off the practice walls, just that low hum of players keeping pace, waiting for something bigger to unfold. The schedule says Baltimore on Thursday night, but it feels heavier than that. You can sense it in the way the trainers move, and how Mike McDaniel stands there, watchful, trying not to show too much. It wasn't a real practice, just a walkthrough, so the injury report came from estimation. But even estimations carry stories. The good kind this time. Bradley Chubb, shoulder and foot both giving him trouble, seems to be leaning towards suiting up. D. Eskridge, too, no longer in that grim DMP zone. He's limited now, which might sound small, but for a team trying to build rhythm in a short week, it's a whisper of hope. McDaniel, calm as ever, made it sound simple. "I'm very confident unless there's a setback that he'll be playing," he said about Chubb. You could tell from his tone. He meant it. He's excited for the game, working through all that stuff. And you could picture Chubb, pacing, locked in, that familiar look of someone who's been told he's questionable but refuses to believe it. So yeah, it looks like Chubb's back. The timing couldn't be sharper or crueler, depending on how you see it. Thursday night, national eyes, Baltimore in their best rhythm since week 4. Lamar Jackson freshly back, moving like he's been waiting to make someone pay for sitting out those weeks. And the Dolphins, trying to keep their identity steady. Fast, fearless, just unpredictable enough to make you think they might flip a game on its head at any moment. Not everyone's trending the right way, though. Safety Ashton Davis and tight end Julian Hill both hit their second straight, did not practice designation. 2 days in a row of nothing means the chances aren't great. You start doing the math. Short week, travel, physical opponent, and it becomes clear. They'll probably be out. Baltimore won't feel sorry. They never do. Then there's Ifeatu Melifonwu, with that thumb injury from the Falcons game. He came back in that one, played through it, didn't flinch. Now he's limited, which in this world might as well mean we'll see. If he sits, and Davis does too, the Dolphins safety group shrinks down to 3. Javon Holland, Brandon Jones, and Elijah Campbell. Campbell, by the way, was a full participant again. He's been itching to get back after missing 2 games, with a quad issue. You can feel that hunger in his body language. He's not just ready to play. He's ready to make up for lost time. Then there's Tua. He's still listed with left thumb/illness, which almost sounds like a formality at this point. But there's something slightly offbeat about how he talked Tuesday. He mentioned his left eye swelling going down. Said he can see better. It's such a small comment, but it sits there in your mind. Quarterbacks don't talk about vision unless something's been bothering them. And yet, he's smiling, light about it, joking that he'll keep the visor on because his teammates like it. I think the guys like the visor, so I'll stick with the visor. You can tell it's partly humor, partly a layer of armor, because every player on this roster knows how fragile this season's rhythm can be. One thumb, one eye, one off week, and the conversation shifts. But Tua's voice had that unshakable calm, the one that made people believe back when the noise around him was louder than any stadium crowd. Baltimore, meanwhile, practiced for real. No estimation, no half-speed. Every player out there except Ronnie Stanley, who's still fighting that ankle issue. He was limited, but he played every snap last Sunday against Chicago. That tells you something about where the Ravens are. Lamar Jackson was full go, and you could hear the edge in his words when he said he was excited to be back. Excited. Dangerous word when it comes from someone like Lamar, because excitement for him means chaos for everyone else. And here's the thing, the Dolphins know it. They know what that speed looks like, what it feels like to try and chase him down. They've felt it before. You can tell the defensive front's been restless, rehearsing angles, repeating drills that probably feel redundant by now. But this isn't just about Lamar. It's about identity, about proving that this team isn't built only to dance under the South Florida sun, but also to fight in the cold, gritty air of a primetime war. Thursday night games have that strange energy. The body's still sore from Sunday. The mind's not quite reset, but the lights are brighter, and the mistakes are magnified. McDaniel's group has had these moments before, some brilliant, some bruising. But this one feels like a mirror test. Baltimore isn't the type to blink first. Neither are the Dolphins. Or at least that's the version they're trying to hold on to. Beyond Baltimore, there's that next game against Buffalo on November 9th. The one that's already stirring emotions for another reason. Jordan Poyer. Back in a Bills uniform. Back where the noise always seems to follow. The Bills signed him off their practice squad Tuesday, which means that reunion's officially locked in. Funny how football works. One minute you're a veteran trying to prove you've still got it. The next you're the guy your old teammates have to go through. Poyer's 2024 run in Miami didn't light up the stat sheet, but that's not the point. He was steady, a voice in the locker room, someone who's seen enough to understand how quickly things shift in this league. Now he's back in Buffalo, starting again after Taylor Rapp's injury. Life moves fast. And then, almost quietly, the Bills pulled Jordan Phillips. Yes, that Jordan Phillips, from their practice squad too. Not the rookie, the older one, the familiar one. Both named Jordan, both defensive tackles, both tied to Miami in different timelines. There's something poetic about that, even if no one in Buffalo's thinking about poetry right now. They're just loading up, stacking bodies, hunting for depth. Buffalo even tried out 4 defensive tackles this week. Among them, Raekwon Davis and Ben Still. Names that ring with Dolphins echoes. You start to see the pattern. Teams reaching into Miami's past, looking for something that might still have a spark left. Raekwon was just with the Colts, even tried out with the Chargers last Friday. Everyone's chasing a fit. Everyone's trying to stay relevant before December hits. But back to Miami, because this week is the kind that tests everything. The preparation, the mindset, the ability to block out the chatter. The Dolphins' record says they're contenders. Their highlights scream it. But anyone watching closely knows how fine the margin is. Baltimore doesn't care about the stats. They care about control, field position, time of possession rhythm. They squeeze teams until they lose patience. That's where Chubb comes in. If he plays, and it looks like he will, it's more than just another body on defense. It's attitude. He's the kind of player who changes the pulse of a drive. When he's crashing off the edge, it forces quarterbacks to hurry, coordinators to second guess. Even if he's not 100%, his presence bends the game plan. You can see it. You can feel it. Eskridge, too, might be limited, but his burst adds something that's been missing in short yardage motion. Those quick flips, those deceptive alignments that McDaniel loves to use to unbalance defenders. Even 5 snaps of that can flip a sequence. It's funny how much of football lives in the gray zones, the words limited, questionable, day-to-day. But inside those phrases, whole seasons breathe. For Miami, it's about holding steady through that fog. No panic, no overreaction, just that slow, grinding confidence that something's building. Because if there's one thing this team's learned, it's that momentum doesn't announce itself. It creeps in. It shows up when your roster looks thin, when your body aches, when no one outside the locker room thinks you've got enough left. You could feel that after the Atlanta game. The 34-10 win that looked easy on paper but wasn't. The defense bent early, then clamped down. The offense didn't explode. It simmered, controlled, found rhythm late. That's where this team's edge is hiding. Not in the flash, but in the patience. Baltimore's coming in off a win, too. 30-16 over the Bears, a game that was cleaner than their season's been. They've rediscovered balance, and when that happens, the Ravens become a team that thrives on others' mistakes. One slip, one fumble, one hesitation in coverage, and they pounce. That's what Thursday night will test. Can the Dolphins stay sharp in those small spaces? Can they control the game's pulse without chasing it? There's also that unspoken tension about how McDaniel handles short weeks. His system thrives on precision, timing, detail. Short weeks compress that rhythm. Fewer reps, less installation, more fatigue. But this coaching staff's grown. They've been through these cycles now. They know when to push, when to let the players breathe. And that's why Tuesday mattered, even as a walkthrough. It wasn't about sprinting. It was about syncing, body and mind, offense and defense. The room felt quiet because everyone knew what was coming. Sometimes that quiet is more telling than any headline. Thursday's not about redemption or revenge. It's about staying who they claim to be when the schedule gets cruel. Chubb's shoulder, Tua's eye, the safety's depth, it's all part of it. You can dress it up as injury updates, but underneath it's the same question that's been chasing this franchise for years. How do they respond when things tighten up? This team has the talent. Everyone knows that. The highlight reels prove it every week. But moments like this, these midseason nights against teams that don't flinch, these are where you find out if the Dolphins' confidence is built on flair or on something deeper. The truth is, no one really knows yet. Maybe that's what makes it compelling. Maybe that's why every time McDaniel steps to a podium and says he's confident, you want to believe him, because you can sense that he's not just managing injuries or depth charts. He's managing belief. And on nights like Thursday, belief has to play defense, too.